Hello, welcome to the Intervention channel, or welcome back. This subject is a common question with families, with addicts for that matter, about marijuana. And it deserves to be addressed. A lot has changed in the past few years with respect to the legalization of marijuana, medical uses of marijuana, misuse of medical cards to get marijuana, minors being advertised to with candied flavors of marijuana, you know, Tutti Frutti this and Fruity Pebbles. I guess they have a thing with breakfast cereal. But, anyway, I'll tell you something. The question that I am asked by addicts, well, the statement that I am given by most addicts is, I'm not going to stop smoking pot. During an intervention, I don't really argue about it. I'm not there to give them a big picture of their life. Well, in some respects I am, but I'm not there to sell them some sort of big picture handling on their future, because that's just never going to go over with a using addict. A using addict sees very little of his life. A little box-sized piece of the universe is about all that he or she can see or deal with. You can't have discussions successfully about what the person is going to be doing in 3 months, much less 6 months. So just avoid that. I avoid it I don't agree with the person, but I acknowledge what they're saying. Say, I hear you. I mean, that's something that you're going to need to make a decision on. And I don't try to handle it. So just, if the question comes up, or if the statement comes up, I'm going to keep smoking pot. Don't argue. Don't argue. You don't want to fight with the addict about pot. I mean, there's a lot that can be said about marijuana, the legalization. There's all sorts of political discussions we can have, discussions about the validity or non-validity of medical cards being abused, the way that recreational marijuana is dispensed now by the ton everywhere in the United States, the use by minors as a result of all the advertising that is going on, which is something I don't agree with. I certainly agree with decriminalizing addiction. I mean, addicts need help, not to be incarcerated. But I do believe in preventing the marijuana industry from having billboards up every mile on the highway about all the flavors they have. I think it's very, very destructive to our society. And I'll tell you why. I consider marijuana to be very dangerous with respect to a person's ability to shine, a person's ability to have an edge. People who shine, people who are vibrant, are not stoned. Well, and if they are, they're probably smoking some really good stuff, but it certainly takes away a person's ability to think clearly. That's what the function is. It's actually, I think it's classified as a hallucinogen. It certainly has sedative properties, but the concentrates, that are out there now, these products that are made from marijuana, like the original marijuana having, let's say, 15 to 20% THC, the concentrates made from that same marijuana have 80 to 90% THC, and they're on vapes. So the person is taking deep lung hits, right? Like this. They're not puffing on a little toke. They're taking deep lung hits of highly concentrated THC. I did an intervention out in New York, out in Jamaica, New York, which I learned is an Indian word. Actually, it has nothing to do with the island of Jamaica, but it's it's a little part of New York, and I think it's near Queens. And anyway, I met this family, lovely family from Guam. They had kind of a big family, and I met the kid. His name was also Steve, and all he did was smoke concentrates, marijuana concentrates. That's it. He didn't do dope. He didn't do meth. He didn't do anything else. And we knew this because the mother was the one who was supplying him with this dope, because, the pot, because she didn't know what else to do. And then she called me. They have a program set up for him, because what had happened to him over a period of time with him just constantly smoking these concentrates, he was more out of it than anybody I have ever worked with. On heroin, well, I've worked with some people who are really out of it, but he was really out of it. Let's just say that. He came down, the family read their letters, they were heartfelt, they were beautiful, they were tugging on his heartstrings, or they could have been. He was just like, had no reaction, nothing. Then he goes back upstairs, and I mean, he didn't want to go, but he wasn't like battling me. He just was gone. I go in, we're packing up his stuff, and I go up to him and I'm like, Steve, hey man, hey. And he kind of, hey man, where's your other shoe? You need 2 shoes to get out of here, and I only have 1. Where's your other one? I don't know. So, if you're out there thinking, now that's just him, it's not me, I have seen this universal effect that pot has on people, which is to quash, squash, and otherwise destroy a person's ability to thrive, to shine, to have an edge, to dim the brilliance. It's like a dimmer switch. It doesn't turn them off completely, boop, but it dims the person. It dims them down, dumbs them down. A dumber switch. So, yeah, you know, people are going to make their own decisions about it, but I would not, I mean, having said all of that, I do not get into debates with people about whether or not they're going to keep smoking pot during an intervention. When it comes to interventions, you don't have to agree, you don't have to say, yes, you should still keep smoking pot. Just acknowledge what they said without agreeing with it. Say, yeah, I get how you could have that viewpoint, I understand. Okay, well, let's get packed, you know. If you're going to keep smoking pot, that's great. I'm really glad that you're going and you're going to get a break for a little while, at least clear your head. And you will invariably find that when a person stops smoking pot, and this is for everybody out there who's smoking pot, well, I have mental issues. Yeah, well, it's not like pot is going to help you with mental issues. It'll help you forget about them. It'll help you not feel them, but that's not the same as handling them. So, you know, sorry to be a wet rag, but handling mental issues actually takes work, not drug use, in my opinion. So don't get into it with him. So I'm glad you're going to be able to take a break and then get him into the program. And what will invariably happen is that they will come back to life. You'll see a completely different person. Even if you have to do an intervention about pot, do an intervention. Bring your person back to life. They don't have to be shooting dope in some alleyway, you know, and being hauled to an emergency room in order to instigate an intervention. Anybody who is self-medicating and not themselves anymore can use a break and a program. You know, there are programs of varying intensity and varying length. Get them handled. Get the problem handled. If you need help, call me, text me, stevebruno.com. I have a book called More Than Hope, Intervention Guidebook. That's available on Amazon and Kindle. There will be a subscribe button coming up. Click on that if you like what you hear and you want to hear more. I have new videos coming out all the time, as of the making of this video. And yeah, so my name is Steve Bruno, and this is the Intervention Channel. Thank you for watching.